Hello, I'm Hannah Burkhalter. I'm a 21-year-old trans woman, and I decided to make a channel where I talk about trans issues and problems we might have to deal with and how I personally deal with them. I hope that this is helpful. I know that there's just not very many resources for trans teenagers, and I feel like a lot of the things I'm going to be talking about are things I wish I heard when I was younger. And so for my first video, I thought the most important thing of all, the very first thing that needs to be done is how do you be happy with being trans? Because that is not easy. It's anyone who realizes that they're trans, almost always you're going to have a time where you're like, oh my god, is this true? I don't want to be this. This is wrong. I don't want to be like this. You're terrified. You don't know how to handle it. You feel ashamed. It's so difficult to come to terms with. And even for years, it can take where you'll just be thinking, God, even if there's nothing wrong with me being trans, I wish I could be cis. I wish I wasn't like this. I wish this wasn't my existence. And there's various reasons for that that are very understandable. I mean, our society is just relentlessly hates us and really tries to beat into us like, there's something weird about this. You shouldn't be this. So that already adds on to it. But then it's difficult. It is not easy being trans. Dysphoria is extremely painful. Having a body that doesn't feel like yours, it just feels awful. Another thing is transphobia. You go and face a lot of hatred. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of discrimination. It's scary. You have to just constantly deal with stuff and be relentlessly brave and strong just to go through your day. However, there's good stuff to it. The very first thing that just needs to get out of the way, which is, if being transgender is not a mental illness, there is nothing wrong with you mentally being trans. And you hear that and be like, well, yeah, but dysphoria is a mental illness, and almost always people have dysphoria when they're trans. But the thing is that dysphoria isn't something that happens and then you're trans because of it. Dysphoria is a direct result of the world you live in from being trans. If you don't feel comfortable in the body and identity we're born with, then if you have to just stay with that relentlessly year after year after year, that is going to make you feel horrible. That's going to destroy your mental health and just do awful stuff to you and make you feel terrible about yourself. But it doesn't need to be like that. If you get the opportunity to transition and be in your own body and feel like, yes, this is who I am, this is who I'm supposed to be, then you won't really have dysphoria. I mean, it just kind of goes away, and that's what you're transitioning for. You're choosing to go and pursue this to be happy. So even if it's, no matter how crushing it is in the moment, you should always look towards the future where things are going to get better. You're going to be happy with your body and won't have dysphoria. And there'll be nothing mentally ill with you in that point regarding being trans. You'll just be another normal person living your life. Even then, there's nothing wrong with being mentally ill, but of course, you still want to be cured of them. Another thing is, early on, you can be like, well, yeah, I know I'm going to be getting better, but that's not going to really help me much in the moment. I'm still going to feel horrible about myself. Now, it could be years before I get to transition or be happy with who I am. So, I think the best thing to do when you're in that situation, when it's early on, is figure out things about you that you like. There doesn't need to be a lot of them, because it's hard to figure out some, but just choose a few things that you think, huh, yeah, this makes me feel feminine, or this makes me feel masculine, even if the rest of me doesn't. For example, early on transition, I really liked my hair color. It's a really nice natural hair color, and I love it, and I kind of fixated on that. I have nice eyelashes, and I have nice hips, so those were 3 things. Even if I didn't like almost any other part of myself, I had those 3 things, and those made it so I didn't feel as bad about myself. They were things I could hold on to and keep in mind. Another thing is, beauty standards are kind of stupid. The idea of what a man needs to be and needs to look like, and what a woman needs to be and needs to look like, is very, very narrow and very specific. And in general, everyone struggles with having to try to go and become this impossible ideal, trying to fulfill all these different standards of exactly how you're supposed to look. And that's BS. You shouldn't have to go and change all these aspects of yourself just to go and be the right gender. But for example, I was really dysphoric about my nose and my chin, because both of those are considered not as feminine because they're a bit larger. But then, like, when you actually go out in the world and look at things, you realize, oh, there's lots of cis women with jaws like me or with noses like me. It's totally normal. There's tons of women that look like this. It's just that we have all these expectations that we're expected to reach, and it just gets harder when it feels like our validity as our gender is hinging on it. So once you realize, you know, there's nothing actually saying that this is more masculine because tons of other women are like this, you stop feeling as bad about it. It's not easy. Even if you know that, it's hard to go and get the emotional, oh yeah, that is right, even if you know it rationally. And finally, I think that this is a really important one that often gets glossed over, is you don't need to impress everyone. You don't, as much as you want to, not everyone is going to accept your gender identity, and that's a painful reality to face. And you'll not always look how you want to everyone. Not everyone will see you in the way that you wish. But it's not okay, but it's not actually the end of the world. Because a lot of these people, you don't need to have them in your life. You still have to worry about transphobia, of course, but these people don't matter. They're not the people that you're going to be friends with. As long as you go and find the people that matter to you and see you as who you are, then that's all that's important. Because if you have friends that see you as yourself, if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a partner who sees you as your true self, and you don't ever feel insecure about that with them, that's like worth so much, where some random stranger can misgender you or get things wrong, and that still hurts, of course. You're like, yeah, screw you. Well, it doesn't matter to me, screw you. Because you've got everything you already need to live a happy life. You don't need to have the entire world on your side to live a good, fulfilling life as your gender. I'm hoping things will get better, but your happiness doesn't rely on every single person respecting you. Even if it would be nice that they did, you don't need to have that to be happy. So these are just some general tips I have, things I've learned since I came out about 3.5 years ago. I no longer have dysphoria just because of these various things. Because, like, what do I have to be dysphoric about? I'm beautiful. I look exactly how I want to. I look like a pretty girl. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, your dysphoria will go away with time. And at that point, it's just like, you know, being trans feels great. All of a sudden, it's like, I can appreciate every part of my body, my hair, my face, my breasts, everything. It's like, wow, I love this. I love having this. I wished for this for so long and I couldn't have it, and now I do, and it feels amazing. And like, no cis person could ever have that appreciation, because, I mean, they just take it for granted. It's just what they know. But for us, it's magical, and being able to go out and into the world and be ourselves and get seen for who we really are, that is so incredible. No, there's no feeling like it. And then you get this community of trans people who care about you and support you and love you, and you gain so much wisdom and bravery just from transitioning. You have such a better understanding of yourself and the world when you transition and you're younger. There's just a lot of good things about it too, and even if it doesn't feel like those can happen for you now, they can in the future. So please just hang on to hope. Even if you don't think you can be happy now with being trans, at least hold on to the possibility that you can be one day and that you'll stop wishing you were cis. Don't be ashamed if you do wish you were cis, but please try to see it as something that you eventually want to stop doing. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone likes this channel.